Today we'll be working on this 2013 Dodge Grand Caravan 3.6 liter VVT intake. So we're changing the spark plugs in it, and once I get into it, I'll show you a couple more other things that I've already replaced on this engine. We've had it since 2010, paid for it cash. I've had to change the harmonic balancer on here, the oil pump assembly, and it was something else. Can't think of it right now. But it's up under the intake when I take that off. Also, I had to replace the fuse box because the 2013s are bad about having, well, not just the 2013, a couple of the Dodges, Caravans, Jeeps, and makes and models of from like 2009 to 2000, I'm going to say 18. But the fuse for fuel relay is integrated into the board, and you can't just replace that relay. And you could jumper it. I had it jumpered in my old one. I'll show you in this one. And I'll get back to the spark plugs just here in a second. But I had it jumpered from here all the way over to here. Had it wired up with jumper with some fuses in it, and it allowed the fuel pump to work. So I just replaced that, and I'm going to take this cover off, which just pops off. And I also replaced the throttle body and the sensor. It might be kind of hard to see on the video, but in order to get to the spark plugs, there's a few things I have to take off first. I'm going to take off this air line here. I got to take off this intake. I'm going to try to get a little closer for you guys, because as you can see from up here on top of the motor, you're not going to be able to see where would you take off your spark plugs. You can't even see them. So they're all up on this intake. And this intake has a few nuts and bolts. As you can see that one right there that my finger's pointing at, I think that's a 10 millimeter for that one. If it's not a 10, it's an 8, but when I get to the right one, I'll show you. That one there, that one there. One's down there. There's one over there. You won't see it until I take off this whole intake breathing mechanism with the air filter, this line here, all before it gets to the throttle body. I take that off and you'll be able to see that other bolt. And like I said, that one there. And let me see, there's one stuck down there. I got my flashlight on me. That one that's sitting right there. And I think there's one back here at the back. It's not two. That one there, but there's another one I think somewhere over there. This one here. And then take off that wire harness. Take off this wire harness to the throttle body, and that one there to the throttle body sensor. I forgot what this sensor here is, but disconnect that. So I only have one hand, so I'll pause it. And when I come back, I should have this taken off, that taken off, and this disconnected. And hold on. So if I get too far in, I took the negative battery post off too. Anytime you deal with electronics, you go ahead and take it off. Even though you're doing spark plugs, I would say still take it off. And there was also this hose here that'll be connected that you have to take off of the intake as well. Right there. So let me go ahead and get these things off, this air thing off, so you can see the next step. So to take these off, they got the clamps here. 1, 2, and 3. And then back here at the back, you can see those little grooves there. It just sits in there. So it'll sit and come down like this. So hold on, I'm gonna take this off. And you take them off by pulling them from the bottom of the spring, and then the top comes off. Same thing over here in the corner. Pull from the bottom, top comes off, and that comes right out. And then this has one hook like thing in here sitting in here, and I'll show it to you in a second. And it has two spots that sits on these. It's something like these pegs here. Let me try to zoom in. Give me a second. On these pegs at the back end sits on two of these. That's at the back here. And right there, you'll slide it out of, and it come off of the throttle body on that end. It comes off on that end. And then right here at this hook, the last thing, it might take me 2 hands. I'm going to have to take this whole thing and push it back that way, and it'll slide off. Hold on. And so I took that off, and you can see the U-clip here. That slides on in right on the side of it. There's a cushion there, but it's made for that to slide right in between the cushion and the bolt, on the boat. And I don't have to take the air filter out to take the cover off, so I got all of that off. And you can see 1 spark plug, 2 spark plugs, 3 spark plugs. Well, you can't see the spark plugs. These are the coil packs. And if I'm not mistaken, when I show you the other ones, this should be like number 1 over here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then number 6. But I'm gonna have to take the throttle body off in order to get to the other front. So before I even start on the backs, I'm gonna go through and then show you how to disconnect the core packs. Just change the spark plug, but the core pack is the issue because it threw me a code and let me know cylinder 3 had misfires and several misfires. Don't know the actual codes because I don't have the paper in front of me. But fixing all the electrical problems that I had, as I said before, I started with this. Had to change the fuse box because it left me in limp mode, left the vehicle at the last place I was working, and I changed the throttle body and that sensor there. And behind the throttle body, there is a big O-ring, so I replaced it as well. But let me get this intake off, and there's that other bolt I was telling you about you might not been able to see. So you can either use the, I'm going to find out what size it is. I want to say it's an 8mm, but before I make sure, you can use the star wrench head. You can see that the star wrench head goes, the star wrench head, you know, it fits right in the middle of the boat, but I think it's about like an 8mm. And let me find out. Okay, even if it's not an 8, a 5/16 will do the same thing. A 5/16. So I'm gonna take the 5/16 and get it since I only have one hand, and I'll be right back. And this is the setup I'm using. I'm a little small, little teeny ratchet, very, very small, and with some extension to reach those other places. So just didn't want to leave that out so you can actually see some of the tools that she's using. And also, if you can see, right here, and right there, right there where the light's at, that bolt there. There's a bracket that it sits on. I'm gonna try to show you the bolt with the bracket right there. And you can see it from the top. I'm just showing it to you from the side. And don't know if that's a 10 or a 12, but I'm gonna take it off. Then I have to come off in order for this whole intake. I have to be able to go this way. I have to take off that 10mm bolt. I'm gonna zoom in on it. The other one is right there. So once I take these 2 bolts out, trying to get, sorry about that, let me get back focused. I take that one out and that one out, then I can slide the whole intake out that way. And also there's a couple more bolts, as you can see, inside that crevice. There's another bolt there. I had to focus back in there, and one way back there. Those have to be loosened as well. So, and the ones that are on the brackets, these bolts here that are on the bracket are 10. These were the 5/16 or the 8, but these are 10mm. So I'm thinking that one back here too is the 10. So I'm going to take that bracket off, take these two front off because I'm tucking the bolts off those other two, and I should be able to remove the intake, and we can see the other 3 spark plugs. And to actually take that bracket off, I had to use a 13 and an extension to take the bracket off over here on the side. Let's see, can I get it out of there? I really don't have to get it out. It's just sitting right here out of the way. So really not sweating it. And there will be a couple spots that you did have a wire harness stuck here. My bad. There'll be a wire harness stuck right there. And that spot there. And one down here at the bottom. Right there. That's the butt end of it. That's right there. That wire harness leading right there. But now it's out of the way. And I think I actually see. No, I don't have to take him off. I'm going to take those off. Take these front ones off so I can move it backwards. I notice as well, you got to take this air hose off now. And when you use these, I use a small ratchet. It's one that you can buy from your local AutoZone at the front. Like I said, it's a real small one, made for small areas. You can about see how big it is. And you'll need it in little tight areas like that at the front. But I got that off and I'm getting ready to remove this and move it forward. As you can see it moving, but I'm going to take the airline off. I'll be right back. And what I used to take it off was a screwdriver because it was on. The airline was on pretty tight, so I took the screwdriver in there, did it like that while I took my other hand and pulled back here, but to slide it off. There it goes. And let's see, can I do this one-handed? May be able to, may not be able to, but we'll find out. Okay, that bolt's out, that bolt's out. Make sure all the bolts are loosened up enough where everything should be able to come up. See how it's up and away? And I've actually got it, let me shorten it down. So up and away, then I gotta go that way with it. So I'm gonna have to do it one-handed, but if you're doing it yourself, you can do it too, without the cameraman. But hold on. Okay, I got it up and out with this one hose here. Comes right to the back. I'm gonna take it off with the screwdriver and I can remove the whole intake and ready to get down here to my other spark plug. Now, it would be recommended to remove that, but since I have it out of the way and can get to each one of my spark plugs, I can go ahead and change it. I see all my gaskets are still intact. I had replaced, the intake, these seals here, up under the intake, because I had to take this off, and up under here is the oil house assembly pump. I had to replace it too as well because it was leaking oil. So that's one of the things I replaced too. And got all these parts. And believe it or not, this is not advertising. I got all these parts off of Amazon. And I've also had to change the motor mounts here. Where's my other motor mount that I changed? I changed 3 of them. Where's my other motor mount? It's hidden back there. It was changed right there on the side. I zoom up on it. The black piece that you see there with the silver, the piece of that rubber there, and that black, in that hole, that blackness. Right, yeah, that whole little piece there. And the third one, there's one more that's back there at the back. I didn't replace by the transmission because it didn't need it, but I did have one more down there that I replaced. So I know I replaced that one. There's one more. Can't remember where it's at. So I changed 3. Oh, this one right down here. It's down there at the bottom. You may be able to see some of the black. I got the light shining on. Those are the other motor support. But those are the things I changed. So I'll be disconnecting the wires from the core pack, pulling the core packs out. They got one bolt at the back, which I think are 10 millimeters each. And you take those off, and inside of there are the spark plugs. So, and I take this cushion off right here just so I can get to the spark plugs and make sure I don't knock any trash in. But there we go. Everything visible getting to. Now, for purposes of making sure everything stays straight, I'm going to get some paper towels. I'm going to put one in each one of these intake holes here to make sure no trash or anything else gets in here. I would take the air hose and blow all of this off, but I'm only going to take a little light brushing, or there we go. There's the air pressure blower. I've cleaned off around there, but you can take air hose nozzles and wipe off before you open the motor up. You can make sure there's no debris or no trash anywhere around it. You can introduce into the motor as well. So that's another tip, but I'm just showing you how I can do it myself and get around it. But here we go, hold on. Now, in between me going to get my paper towel to put into those intake holes there, I'm gonna show you something to do a little advertising for the next video that I will be uploading when it comes to the auto mechanic works. I've already taken like my air vent there, intake off the top. That's what's missing off the top, and a few other brackets. And I keep my little toolbox thingy. A few other brackets off. But what I will be doing is replacing the heads, which are bundled all over here on that side, and the heads on this side. It ran hot. So I have to take all of this off and take the heads off. A bunch of things that is involved with that. So since I've already got started on it, this is a 98 Chevy S10 4.3 liter engine with the VTEC turbo. And so I think it's called VTEC turbo. Anyway, whenever I get it all the way broke down, I'll show it to you in reverse. And that's what we'll be doing with that one. But hold on while I get my paper towels so we get back over here and change these spark plugs. So I'll be using my wash hand towels when I get finished cleaning. This is the brand I'm using. This is not advertising either. But if they see it and like it, they can hit me up and talk to me about it. But I'll be using these to put inside the intake valves. And if you were, or you didn't have your spark plugs with you, and if you were to take them out prematurely, I would say put one of these in each one of the holes as well. But for now, let me go and get these holes filled in, get these core packs taken off, and spark plugs taken out, and I'll show you that and what size sockets you need and extension to take the spark plugs out. And there you have it, all 6 holes covered up. You don't have to pack them in there. You just want to cover it up or stick it in there good enough to make sure nothing can get in. It don't have to go deep in there. Just make sure the hole in the surface is full. So that way while you're working anywhere, you won't knock any debris or trash in there. So let me get these coils out. Where's me little tin? Let's see if the 10 millimeter is what it takes for these to fit on here. Yeah, they're 10 millimeters. So I'm taking the 10. I'm gonna use my little one while I got it, and go ahead and get all these core packs off. So I'll be back in a minute. I was using my longer ratchet for leverage. I didn't have a one-piece extension, but I used my 2 of them, and it's a 5/8 spark plug wrench. You can tell by the way that it has these extra pieces on the end whenever you're getting it. So most toolboxes will have them, but you have mostly a standard of 5/8 and a 13/16 spark plug wrench for bigger spark plugs. But that's where they're at. The spark plugs are up in those little holes there. I may better zoom in and show you the top of one. Right there, 1, 2, 3. Then you got your 4, 5, and 6. And when I upload the video, I'll make sure that I put the firing pattern in here right. Not the firing pattern, but where the sparks are, like if it's cylinder 1, 2, cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or if it's the other way around. But I believe it's from the front of the motor. Ours are here, and the evens are here. 1, 3, 6, 2, 4. I mean 1, 1, 3, and 5, 2, 4, and 6. But I'll be back with the spark plugs out and replace them. And for the sake of the video, once you take the spark plugs out, you just reinstall the new ones. And when you tighten them down, you're only gonna, I'm not gonna tell you to torque them, you're just gonna get them hand tight. You'll know once you bottom out, just a little more, that's it, just very little. And replace everything back the way that it came off. And then you have your spark plug thing changed. I gotta go get my magnet. I can't find my other one. I looked in the shop, so I'm gonna have to go purchase me one from the local AutoZone or O'Reilly or somewhere. But that's the end of the spark plug changing. And as I said before, if you made it this far, just put things back, and you've had your spark plug changed. Um, and if you need to change the coil packs, you see it will be the same way. So if I have issues, I have to come back to the same thing. If it was my coil and not my spark plug, I change the coil pack at cylinder 3. Okay, thank you, and thank you for joining In the Circle Ministries and our how-to video. 2013 Dodge Grand Caravan, 3.6 liter engine, VVT, spark plug change. Thank you.